right. Hey, yo, welcome back. So, jazz drummer, teaching you how to play metal, teaching you how to play bleed. Good start. Have you been struggling with learning how to play bleed? Well, this video series that I've been recording can help you and will help you. Now, what I want to make clear up front, we're in the third video, this material is challenging. Regardless of any tricks or tips you get, you're going to need to play it for hundreds and hundreds of hours in order to play it with any kind of proficiency. Trust me, I know, being on like hour 200 now of playing this frigging goddamn tune. Coming in the new year, jazz drummer playing bleed. Stay tuned. All right. So if you've struggled with it, this video series will help you play that. I'm giving you my expert advice from someone that doesn't play this music very much, attempting to learn it, and also with a jazz background, breaking things down and being able to transcribe and all that stuff. So let's get started. Intro time. What we're going to learn today is 2 more parts. So we've gotten the whole beginning of the tune. These are the last 2 parts before we go into the break in the middle of the tune. So the first part is this like downbeat and then crash with the left hand kind of section. In this section, it's only 8 bars long, 8 bars long. We've got 2 patterns that we need to learn how to play. And then we take those 2 patterns and we put the snare in 5 different positions. So that creates 7 unique patterns. Okay. You with me? Trust me, it'll make more sense as we break it down further later. And then that's 8 bars long. Now the second pattern is a longer pattern. It's a whole page. I think it's like 16, maybe 20 bars long, something like that. It's still only made up of 2 patterns. You need to be able to play both of these patterns starting in the downbeat position and the upbeat position. So I'm talking about the downbeat driving pattern with the lead hand that happens throughout this tune. So you got to be able to start the pattern on the downbeat and on the upbeat. So those 2 patterns, you need to learn how to start in both of those positions. Lucky thing about this is, and I discovered this as I was learning it, after I had practiced it a bunch, it just kind of opened up to me. Maybe people get it quicker than I did, but it took me like hours and hours of just trying to grind through the whole page to realize it's a 3-bar loop. Okay, so it's only 3 bars that you have to play, but because it's a 3-bar loop against a 4-bar melody, that's what gives it its cool feel. It's cycling differently against the melody. So the melody is outlining the first beat of all 4 bars and then going back to that original theme. Well, the 3-bar syncopated pattern is cycling underneath that. Very, very cool juxtaposition, if you will. So yeah, you need to be able to play those both in 2 ways, and then it's a 3-bar loop. We'll get there when we get there. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Jazz drummer teaching you how to play bleed. Really excited about this one. Let's get started. All right, yo, let's get started. So, first section, here's what it sounds like. Cool. Let's get started on learning it. It's 2 patterns. One pattern ends left-footed with a crash with the left hand. The other pattern ends right-footed with a left hand with the crash. Here's what they both sound like. Pattern number 1. Notice the left foot ending with the crash. Now pattern number 2. Notice the right foot ending with the crash. All right, 5 ways to play these 2 patterns by putting the snare in different positions. Let's start with the snare in the 1 position. Pattern number 2. Cool. The other way to place the snare would be at the end of the phrase, but to do that, you'll have to do it with your right hand because you have to play the crash with your left right after. So here's what the first pattern looks like with that. Second pattern. And the last way that you can play this would be with the snare in the middle position. So that looks and sounds like this. Awesome. All right. Here's what the whole chart looks like. We've got 7 unique patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The other 6 partials or parts of this pattern are all just repeats of things we've already worked on. So now at this point, what you want to do, like I said at the beginning, there's still challenges to this tune. Whether or not you're given ways to practice it, you still have to practice it a lot in order to be able to play it. So you need to run this section a lot of times. But first practice those pieces because it'll make it easier for you to run this section. All right, cool. Here we go. So now let's move on to part 2 of this video. And we're going to be talking about the next section. So here's what that section sounds like, or as much as I can show it so I don't get demonetized. Okay, let's break this down. This is a 3-bar loop that comprises 2 patterns as well. Similar to the previous section, we've got 2 patterns that we need to learn how to do, but we need to learn how to play them both in the down and the upbeat position. So here's the 2 patterns in the downbeat position. Pattern number 1. Pattern number 2. Cool. That's both in the downbeat position, starting in the downbeat of the crash pattern. Now let's try and start both patterns in the upbeat position. Pattern number 2. Pattern number 2. That one I struggle with quite a bit, so you might want to just practice that one a ton as well. So those are the 2 patterns in the down and the upbeat position. And then there is not a lot more that I can help you with, because you need to learn how to play the 3-bar phrase now. So all I can do is show you the 3-bar phrase. So another tricky thing about it is that it starts in the second bar. The 3-bar phrase that loops starts in the second bar. So you've got this little lead in that's different. It's like in the middle of the 3-bar phrase. So, but here's what the 3-bar phrase sounds like. Oh yeah, one other tip would be practice it without snare at first. So just practice the 3-bar phrase without snare. Here's what that sounds like. And also tricky as well, it starts on the and of the first bar. And then you add the snare in. All right, that is basically it for those two parts as far as how to practice them and get better. So what I'm definitely thinking with this video series is that up to this point, you've learned how to play hiertas with the feet. You've learned how to cycle them a lot because the previous, I think it's 4 patterns, all do that a lot. And in order to get past those to this point, you're going to have played lots of hiertas with your feet. So if that's not the case, then you need to go back to the first 2 videos and work like hell on those before you even attempt these 2. That being said, this is all doable, and I'm going to prove it in the new year when I play this song down. I'm almost there, working really, really hard. Thank you so much for following along. Like and subscribe. Check out my other videos, everything. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Check out, I played the same drum beat for an hour and a half straight. That's also there. Why did I do that? Go watch the video. You'll find out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Take care. Jazz drummer teaching how to play metal, teaching how to play bleed. Thank you. Bye.